You guys are on feed.
We're super live. Okay.
Super live.
Welcome to, we don't really have a name for this event. I was saying it's almost like between two ferns, but with like, instead of ferns, we have this nice little piece of plastic. But welcome to the Ultimate Comics chat with Christos Gage for Monster Kill Squad, out in 2 days. I got a sneak peek at it early. This is writer, creator of the book, Christos Gage, and we're going to be asking some questions and just talking about the book. And feel free to put your questions in the comments after I get through my couple. You know, if anyone else has any questions, we can ask Christos what's on your mind. And also, we do have some books that you can purchase by letting us know in the comments. You want a signed copy. We sell them as sets. So for $28, you get all 4 issues. The first one will be signed by Christos. And if you're not local, it's just $8 flat rate shipping anywhere in the U.S. And we put that as a little banner message underneath. So let us know if you have any questions about that.
If you want, I can sign all 4 issues. I mean, as long as they're at the Carry store at some point.
Yeah. We'll track them down. Okay, so you can let us know. You just want number 1. You want all 4 signed. We can make it happen. Yes, we know Christos lives right in the triangle, so super easy. Now, I just read this today. I was very worried that we weren't going to get our copies before today.
Yeah.
They just got here. Great first issue.
Thank you.
Yeah, I loved it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's, one of my secrets to writing great scripts is to have artists like Tomas Giorello draw them.
Oh, man. I mean, come on.
And Diego Rodriguez did an amazing job with the colors, which I'm just seeing now for the first time. But yeah, Tomas and I worked on Ninjak, or Ninja K, as we used to call it back in those days. And he's just so great, isn't he? Yeah, no,
this is incredible. We were just talking about on the opening, on the front cover and the back cover too. You get some pencil sketches of 2 of the Monster Kill Squad members, and just the pencils are just insane on this, like so good.
Yeah.
Sorry, go for it.
Oh no, I was gonna say. So this was his interpretation of a character that I call the commander, and she's the leader of the squad. And the idea with her is, like, imagine if, like, Jamie Lee Curtis or like Ripley or one of the last, quote unquote last girls, as the expression has gone, just never stops fighting monsters, and she's now this grizzled monster hunter who just kicks much ass. And
oh man, first off, I love the costumes on every member of the Monster Kill Squad.
Yeah.
It is very 90s, which I grew up reading 90s X-Men for my dad, and like all the pouches and like Cable-esque, like Edgar, who's also on the back, very Cable.
Yes.
Were you inspired by like 90s superhero comics, or was this who kind of came up with their designs? Was it both of you guys topping out?
I think that was probably a little bit more Tomas than me, and because I, of course, grew up reading 70s and 80s comics and 90s comics. Unlike some people who quit comics when they, like, back in my day, only guys read comics. No, I'm just kidding. But it was a much more male-oriented thing, and like you got to the point where you discovered girls and you were supposed to stop reading comics, and because it wasn't cool, and girls wouldn't like you if you read comics. And so I didn't have the courage to like be out and proud as a comic book reader, but I just stayed in the closet with it. I never actually stopped.
Sure.
So I just so I was reading comics in the 90s, but I was also like a starving student, so that's not like my nostalgic phase.
Sure.
But I think these guys were really inspired by the 90s books with the designs, and I think that stuff is great. I mean, it's become like what's the word I'm looking for, like a trope of comics.
Sure.
Almost like a shorthand, and I think it's really cool.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, that's my dad stopped in like the 80s and the 90s, like so many people's, when he got hooked back in when Age of Apocalypse. So this is what I grew up reading as a kid. I thought the X-Men just looked like that. I was like, wow, the guys are big. This is a lot of pouches. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, how did you get involved with Bad Idea? I know you worked with Dinesh and the crew over at Valiant on Ninja K and a couple other books.
Yes. So Warren Simons, who was my editor on Ninja K, and also on Hardcore.
Yes.
And some other stuff. he's like, hey, do you want to do something? And I may have reached out to him actually, because I just really enjoy working with those guys. Anyway, he was like, I think he approached me with this idea of a like a monster. We're both big fans of the movie Cabin in the Woods, which
so good.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, and my former Daredevil showrunner, Drew Goddard, co-wrote and directed it.
Oh, cool.
And I'm a huge fan of it as well as my wife Ruth. And in fact, that's in the early days of the first season of Daredevil. In the writers' room, I would periodically just ask him annoying questions
about the movie.
About the movie, like I'd ask him. I don't know if you remember the part where they're all betting on what monster is going to be picked.
Yes.
And they have that whiteboard.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh yeah." They kept telling Josh and me like, "We're going to need that for the shoot." We were like, "Yeah, we'll get to it." And then it came to the time where it's like, "We're shooting that in 5 minutes. You're going to have to come up with a board." So they just wrote random stuff. Yeah. But my favorite was it was like witches, and then it was like sexy witches, and then just Kevin. And so he explained to me like what Kevin was, which is one of the things that I always wondered about. Anyway, so Warren was like, let's do something like, I like the idea of something like Cabin in the Woods where there's like all these different monsters, and we just talked. I can't remember, how it evolved. Warren and I just, talk and. Can I swear on here?
Yeah, please. I'm always
shoot the shit.
Yeah.
It's just a PG swear, and I went away and did a pitch, and this was it. And here we are, and here's the first issue in my hand. And I'm working on the script for the final issue now.
Wow.
So I'm very excited, and thank you everyone who supports us by picking one up.
Yeah. When did Thomas get involved? Was he always involved?
I think he was always the plan.
Yeah.
To be involved. I think he was finishing up Josh Dysart's book.
Yeah.
And Warren knew that he was going to have availability, and he wanted to get us back together because he liked the way we worked together on Ninjak, and as did I. And that was always the plan.
How is your and Tomas's collaboration work? I know people, it depends. Everyone has a different collaboration style. Or is it more like Marvel method with you guys? How do you guys work out a script together?
I mean, I write full script, but I try not to. My feeling is that the artist is the visual one, and I'm not there to do their job for them or tell them how to do it.
So you're not like Alan Moore, like 1 page length per panel.
That is the biggest mistake that aspiring comic book writers make is they're like, I want to read the best script, which is Alan Moore, which is probably true, but if you're Alan Moore, you can get away with that, but if you're not, you can't. And so I try to give the artist enough that I'm not just, it's just really rude to be like, 4 pages fight scene, go, because then they're doing your job for you.
Right.
But I try to give enough that they have some idea of what to do, but enough for them to do their thing. And I always say, if you got something better, a better idea, just go nuts. And Tomas is really sweet. So sometimes he'll email me and say like, I'd like to change this panel to this or move this panel to the next page. And I'm like, you don't have to ask me, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go for it.
And he just delivers.
Yeah, I mean, it felt I could see like that. We were talking before this started that I loved you guys' Ninja K run, and you can see how easy you guys work together. I feel like it just comes across in the script. It's funny because we kind of talked about it. But are you a big horror movie fan aside from Cabin in the Woods? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, more back in the day, like in the 80s. Like I remember when I was 15, like the year before I got my driver's license, me and my buddy used to just go to the video store and rent all the horror movies we could. I think we watched every horror movie that they had because you can't drive, and we lived in like. Not rural, but suburban Massachusetts, but like suburban enough that you couldn't just walk places.
Sure.
So we would just rent tons of horror movies and watch them all. And, like Demons, and there was one by Dario Argento directed it, and it had an Iron Maiden soundtrack. There were bugs in it.
Yes. God, I just saw it. It's got the girl from Labyrinth in it. I saw it at the Carolina Theater last year.
No way.
Yeah, they did for their horror movie fest. Oh, it was so good. Phenomena is the American name. Yes, that movie rocks.
Wait, not Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, Jennifer Connelly is the young girl.
Connelly?
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. She actually like has a lasting scar from that movie from the monkey butler. Like bit her when they were on the set. She's got a scar from that movie.
Wow.
The movie rocks. It was very weird.
Yeah, it was bizarre. And then the one with the homicidal Santa serial killer.
Oh sure.
And then the Toolbox Murders.
Okay.
Yeah, we got pretty old school. We got down into the weeds with that. So, yes, I do like those. And I've watched some recent ones too that were really good. But off the top of my head, I can't think of them. But you know,
I mean, I'm so stoked. I never get to talk about Phenomena. I think Brockton McKinney's the only other person I know who's seen it. Well, how about, are you big, I feel like I don't want to spoil too much about what happens in this first issue since I'm lucky enough to have read it 2 days early, but what about it? Or, you know, I felt like Stephen King play a little.
Yes, that's one of the ones I watched recently. So when the pandemic first started, you know, like a lot of people, my work fell off a little bit, so I had more extra time than usual, and I just watched a lot of movies, and I subscribed to Shudder, which was all horror movies, and I watched, but it was on HBO, I think. Anyway, I did watch it. Now, I read it when it first came out.
Yeah.
The book. Movie's not as good as the book.
Now, which one did you watch? Did you watch the new one or the OG?
You mean the one that was on TV back in the day?
Yeah, the TV movie.
I saw that one at the time.
Okay.
And then I watched the recent one with Bill Hader.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen them all.
Okay, nice.
None of them are as good as the book, but they also don't have that one questionable scene at the end.
Yeah, right.
You know, let me tell you something about some of these things that now people are like, boy, looking back on it, that was kind of creepy. In the 80s, I was a kid. I was a 15-year-old boy.
And
going,
even then.
This is fucked up, you know? So it's not like we didn't know then. We knew, okay?
There's a lot of cocaine involved, I think, at that point in his life.
I think so.
We can give him that slack there.
We knew Revenge of the Nerds was messed up. We knew there were problematic things in 16 Candles.
Yeah.
But they were fun, so we kind of overlooked it, you know? I don't know. I'm not proud of it. It is what it is.
You didn't write it. Now, the Monster Kill Squad. I think everyone has a really cool, like, great introduction. Every member of the squad, they each have like a little shiny moment in their first fight. I won't give too much away. It very much felt like a D&D like group of adventurers. Are you a D&D fan? Is that how you kind of went into it? It almost feels like, you know, we got like each one has their own specialty, like the way you go into a campaign. Yeah,
well, that's kind of how I tried to shape them all. I mean, like most things, I played D&D in the 80s. I haven't played the recent version. But yes, so they've all got their own thing, and some of them you'll find out as you go along. But like we were talking about the commander, who's the leader of the squad.
Yes.
She's like if like Jamie Lee Curtis or one of the last girls, you know, from the horror movies of the 80s, just continued fighting monsters for the rest of her life. And she's this grizzled old, you know, veteran monster fighter. And then there's, you know, a guy named Javier whose arm was bitten off by a deep one, so he's got this prosthetic arm that he hooks all kind of weapons to. Then there's like this woman who's sort of like a modern day Solomon Kane. She's like really religious. And I
love it. She's my favorite. I think. Yeah, she has a really cool moment.
And she's, you know, she's really hardcore. And then there's one who's a pagan, you know, a witch, and into, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then there's a couple of my favorite are some of the support staff. Like there's this one guy, Glenn, who's sort of like the Brad Whitford or Richard Spencer characters in Cabin in the Woods. He's like the functionary. He's the bureaucrat, you know, the paper pusher. Right. And he has a great moment with the first issue is like horrific clowns.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. I mean, I asked about it already, so I think you got a new clown.
Horrific clowns.
That's such a great page.
And he's got to interrogate one of them. Anyway, and then there's Helena, who's like a cryptozoologist. And anyway, it's all everybody. I don't think you should repeat types of characters because it can get boring. Right. Yeah. No. Do you have a favorite? It seems like the commander might be your favorite. She's one of my favorites for sure. Glenn's one of my favorites. I really like. I like all of them at different points. I like Charity and Jude, who's the witch lady, but Edgar is one of my favorites, and he gets probably the least development in the first issue.
Okay.
But in later issues, more comes to light about Edgar. That I think he's just the big cable-looking guy.
Yeah, he's the big, the heavy.
Yeah, but there's more to come about him that I really get into. But every character is my favorite at one time or another, and then a lot of the monsters are my favorites, especially when they talk and have personalities and stuff.
And I mean, even just the designs, like, again, can't spoil too much, but one of these clowns is that's such a sick design. You can tell Giorello went all in on it.
And they're all, a lot of them are based on archetypes from horror movies that have been around at one time or another. Yeah.
Now you recently just wrapped up Batman Fortnite. We were just talking about how we have that Batman Day special coming out.
Yeah.
So how different it is? Do you have a different approach when you're working on something like Batman Fortnite? It's work for hire. You're playing in someone else's sandbox where, Monster Kill Squad, a little bit more your own. These are characters you've created. Do you have a different approach when you're writing the book, writing the script?
No, I think you always got to give your all.
Yeah.
Like once you start phoning it in, you're just going to be phoning it in continuously. So it's not like, Batman Fortnite was great experience. Donald Mustard from Epic Games, had the basic premise, and I was collaborating with him a lot.
Oh, cool.
Excuse me, he and I would touch base a lot, but he also gave me a lot of freedom to do stuff. So I just kind of like, do you have any water?
Yeah.
Sorry,
No worries.
I'm going to give all the anti-mask people ammunition because I think the inside of this mask is making me cough. Anyway, I'll continue answering the question while you get that for me. Thank you. No, I don't change my approach. It was a similar thing. I was probably a little more specific on the script of Batman Fortnite simply because, there was a lot of reference from the game itself. And I know I've worked with Riley before on something, a couple of issues of Amazing Spider-Man with Avengers Academy in them. And he even noted, he was like, oh yeah, I can tell you're being like, more specific in this one. I was like, yeah, I feel like it's necessary because of all the, stuff. But like, again, if you feel like you got a better idea, go for it. But like, there are more levels of approval because it's Epic Games and DC.
Yeah.
But Donald was great. He just loved, he loves comics. He really knows everything about them. And this was like a dream come true for him. So he was super, super, like I've worked on licensed books before where the licensees are like really sticklers about like character likenesses or stuff that doesn't seem all that important.
Right.
And Donald was all about telling the best possible story and having the most fun. And of course, we revealed major things about the world of Fortnite in the game. In the comic.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't believe they're letting us reveal this in the comic instead of the game. And then my favorite thing about all of it was like every day a new issue came out, people would put up pictures on Twitter of like, parents would be like, this is my kid's first comic book. And I was like,
listen, I'll tell you at the store. And please go for the water.
Thank you.
Yeah. We've got the glass and everything.
Yeah.
One where we're literally in the area where most Epic Game employees work. So it was really cool to get some Epic Game employees who had never read comics. We actually have a lot of subscribers who work at Epic, especially at our Cary store because we're right down the road from their office.
Yeah.
But a couple new ones coming in, picking up a comic book just because they were stoked, that they work on the game. But yeah, gosh, that first week when it was crazy because everyone wanted the code, but at the same time, we had some stashed behind the counter because obviously some people were trying to flip it. But we wanted to make sure there's so many parents and kids coming in that week who were like huge Fortnite fans, never picked up a comic, and then opened up a subscription box.
Yeah.
I thought that was so cool.
That is my favorite. My favorite thing, like the hearing about the kids who read it and started asking about other comics. And that's when retailers like yourself are so important because you can guide them to say, well, what kind of stuff do you like?
Right.
Do you like are you into, I don't know what kids are into these days, but like, are you into Pokemon? Are you into Rick and Morty? Are you into whatever, and you can guide them in the right direction, and it's really cool. I mean, the idea, I know so many people who are a bit younger than me who got into comics from the 90s X-Men cartoon.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And Riley being one of them, Riley Brown. And, then there are people like my age who got into comics because of the Incredible Hulk TV show with Lou Ferrigno and Bill Bixby. I think, I can't remember how I got into them. They were just, I lived in New York when I was little, and you walk by the
newsstands,
the newsstand kiosks, and they're just there, and I just was drawn to them like it was my destiny,
Yeah.
Like it was the Ring, and I was Gollum, and so
and it's taken over your whole life, just like Lord.
It has, pretty much, yeah, for better or worse, it has taken over my entire life, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But just the idea that I was involved in something that introduced people to comics, and some of them, they'll read it, it won't be their thing, but some of them, they'll stick with it their whole life.
Yeah.
And have a really good time with it, and it's nice to give something back to the art form that I love so much.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure. I mean, we always get some kids in from at any time there's a movie, we'll get, especially like Suicide Squad, like King Shark books coming out. I know we'll get people hunting for that, but this is the one that I feel like has been the most successful cross promotional push, where I really did see more than just one or two people trying to grab a trade. Like, people were created their sub box. It was very cool.
That's awesome.
So not to get ahead of myself, I mean, this is set to be a 4-issue mini.
Yes.
Now, assuming everyone loves it as much as I did, could there possibly be like a second season? Is this kind of it for these characters?
No, there could definitely be more. So
okay.
Buy it, buy lots of it.
Buy it.
Tell your friends.
Buy it here.
Buy it here. And
they are. Okay.
I'd love to do more.
Yeah.
And if anyone wants me to sign any in particular, like to a given person,
yeah,
make your voice now, heard now, or otherwise I'm just going to sign it with my messy signature, and that's all you're going to get.
Well, and again, if you, I know I've been chatting. I had some questions prepared. I'm sorry. That's the benefit of getting to host it. I get to ask mine first. If you guys have any questions, now's a good time. Jen, anyone tossed any in yet?
Yeah, someone actually wanted to know earlier, maybe it's because Tomas is working on both of them, but is Monster Kill Squad all related to Kent and Giorello's Save Now? Like, is there kind of some, like, crossover with other...
is it in the same universe? I guess because Giorello's working on Save Now with Matt Kent. Are they related at all? Are you allowed to tell us that, if they are?
I'm going to be perfectly honest. I have no idea. I do not know. Boy, Tomas is just going nuts over there. He's got the thing for Josh, too.
Yeah, he's counting them out.
The Odin thing. I forget
Odin's Eye, yeah.
Odin's Eye.
That's coming soon.
Yeah. He's just going nuts. I love more Tomas Giorello art in the world is a good thing.
I mean, that's the best thing about Bad Idea is, like, the creators are just, like, people like, oh my god, yeah, Matt can't write everything. Christos put out a really cool monster book. Like, the people we get to see on the books are great teams.
Matt's fantastic. I loved his Ninjak, and I loved his mind management so much.
I just gave Jen, I lent Jen my Ninjak Volume 1 from Matt Kent.
Yeah, they suggested Bloodshot. I forget which Bloodshot it was to me, and I loved it. I'm like, I gotta go all in on Valiant, because if this is what I'm getting.
Yeah, Ultimate employees, it's our job to get at least one other employee hooked on the Valiant universe.
Sweet.
Jeremy got me, so I'm trying to get Jen in.
Nice.
And yeah, Ninjak.
I did some Bloodshot with Hardcore. Them up, and,
yeah.
Ooh, I'll have to check that out.
I got to work with Bart Sears, which is fantastic. And
so great.
Larry Stroman.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
that
legend.
That was one of my favorite issues. The one I did with Larry Stroman. Oh no, wait, that was Ninjak. Yeah,
right.
That was a good one.
Ninjak.
Okay. Anyway, it all blurs together. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a minute for Valiant. Anyone else got any? Got some other questions coming in?
I think they're a little shy.
Oh well, yes. I mean, I can keep talking. Do you have anything else coming down the pipeline? We mentioned Batman Fortnite. We have the Batman Day print coming out via local comic shops that are participating in that. After Monster Kill Squad, do you have anything, whether it be with Bad Idea or any other comics?
Trying to think about what I can talk about.
Right.
They just announced at Dynamite I'm doing a Nyx miniseries, which is a character from Vampirella.
Oh.
And I really, really dig the what Christopher Priest is doing with Vampirella. He's such a good writer.
It's such a I was very surprised that Priest was put on. It wasn't someone I would automatically put on a Vampirella book, but I maybe pick it up. It's been very good.
It was really good, and so I've been writing this Nick's book and enjoying it tremendously, and trying to, do some of the same stuff the Priest is doing. Keep it so it feels like it's part of that same universe. It's completed the James Bond miniseries I did for Dynamite, but I think the collected edition should be coming out soon.
Yes, yeah.
With Luca Casalanguida, who is great art. I think people who liked the G.I. Joe Cobra book I did would probably like this too. So keep an eye out for the collected edition. What else? I've got in the anniversary issue of Spider-Man coming up, which I think is technically number 74, but the legacy numbering is 875.
I just ordered it. It was on FOC today.
So I'm in that.
Okay.
It's sort of a story that's it's like an Uncle Ben story, but it's about Pete, but how Uncle Ben he goes to visit Uncle Ben's grave and runs into a guy from the old neighborhood who's Uncle Ben's age, and it's about how Uncle Ben affected people's lives. It's just a short story, but I did it with Todd Knock, who was my collaborator on Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
And I don't know when the rest of it is coming out. Sorry, people ask me all the time.
Oh no.
But I knew it was fun to work with Todd again.
Someone wants to know a little bit more, behind the scenes, kind of with Monster Kill Squad. Is it creator owned?
I mean, no, it's owned by Bad Idea, but they have this creator equity thing.
Kind of like how they did when they were over at Valiant, right?
Yeah,
they did the same thing over there. It's a really cool. It's a great.
It's a great model. It's the same idea. So you still get paid your page rate, but you have more of a stake in it than than in a lot of work for hire companies. And I guess if they make a movie out of it or something, you get some money. Like a lot of comic book creators, business is not my strong suit. So I probably should have looked it over a little more carefully, but I like those guys.
Well, listen, we shared it to the Bad Idea fan group, so who knows if the Bad Idea crew themselves are watching. So hopefully you guys
I'm not afraid
treated Christos well.
I'm not afraid of talking to Warren about that. We talk about at one point we were talking and I said to him something about we were talking about getting old as guys our age do, and I was talking about. I said I'm on the Wally Wood retirement plan, which is a bit of a morbid thing to say because, as many people know or don't know, Wally Wood, one of the all-time great comic book artists, and he was also an alcoholic who shot himself when he was.
So many sad pictures of him. His apartment.
And I thought he lived to be in his 70s because of how he looked, but he was not that much older than I am now when he killed himself. So anyway, I say I'm on the Wally Wood retirement plan. And then he came back with a quote from Wally Wood, which is, if I had it all to do over again, I would cut off both my hands.
Yes.
And I'm like, damn, that's dark. So
did you read Bad Weekend really quick? That's what I'm
that's good stuff, and I can tell you where a lot of this stuff comes from, who the things are based on. But I probably shouldn't speak out of turn, but if you ever read Howard Chaykin, he'll tell you everything. He will tell you stories you don't want to know.
I love Howard.
Howard is so great, but it was so here's my funny Howard Chaykin story.
I have one too, so you go first.
Okay. So I got to know Howard out in the West Coast, and he would tell me these stories, and he would tell me a lot of them were very saucy, let's say, and they involved people who I know as kindly older folks who are like grandma and grandpa, but apparently they got it on back in the day. And I'm like, Howard, I really don't need to know all this stuff. And he's like, no, you do need to know it. And he just enjoys telling it. I shouldn't say this. He said, I shouldn't say it. He said he ran into Steranko in a bondage club. And I was like,
I've got a funny Steranko story, but I'm not telling it on camera.
And I was like, Steranko's an escape artist. It's not fair for him to be in a bondage club. How is it bondage when you can just escape?
Yeah. No, it's like Mr. Miracle. Well, hey, Mr. Miracle. Mr. Miracle. Mr. Miracle's into it too.
Anyway, so I was like, well, Howard must really, trust me to tell me these stories anyway. And so I was at a con and I walk up and he's telling someone else the same stories. And I go, hey, Howard, how's it going? And he goes, oh, great, good to see you. He's like, he says the guy, what's your name again? And it was just a fan who had walked up to the table. So he tells all these saucy stories to just like all comers. And I love it. I love Howard. We have had him at our conventions in the past. And my ex-boyfriend, total different lifetime, but we were in a elevator coming out of the con. And he just gave me and him shit for still having our convention tags on. He was basically telling us we looked like a bunch of losers, and that everyone knows you're supposed to take your badge off as soon as you leave the floor, and that I must be green to conventions. And I was like, man, I'm running this the convention you're at. You want to know how many months I planned this? You're giving me shit for wearing my badge. No, that's when you tell him that he's old and out of touch, and he doesn't know that now running the convention gets you later. Yeah, like the director's badge, you know, listen. Yeah, it's funny because he was a fat kid. Like he has a picture on the refrigerator of himself when he was a fat teenage kid. So he doesn't eat too much, I guess. I went over to his house one time, but you can tell he still loves food because the whole time he talked about this steak he was going to make for himself later. And I just was like, those are some of his weak spots. Those are some of the buttons to push. Okay, yeah. Just go with that fat kid deep down inside the curmudgeonly Howard Chaykin, and you will utterly destroy him. When conventions, come back. Back to town. I'll have these in my back pocket ready. Jen, anyone? That was somebody's. Nope, that's it.
Still very shy.
Very quiet.
Well, we are selling a lot of copies.
Well, that's. Okay. Listen,
I should get busy.
Let's start signing.
I'm going to sign in the gun spray here.
We do have two personalization requests.
Okay, let's do.
You want to write them down on a little sticky?
Just tell me what they are, and I'll.
Oh, okay. He's a pro.
One is for Keith, to Keith.
Keif?
Keith.
Keith, like Keith Richards.
Yeah, Richards. Hi, Keith. Thanks for tuning in. Keith is the best. He is a subscriber to our Raleigh store, but he always watches the live show. He rocks. So shout out to Keith.
Thank you, Keith.
People kept asking if these books could be CGC yellow labeled, and I said that we don't have a CGC witness.
Unfortunately, and like you're not allowed to witness yourself. Even if I was a CGC witness, you're not supposed to.
But there has to be like a third.
Yeah, it has to be a third party, or else I could be lying. Sorry, guys.
And then one for Jeremy.
Oh.
Is that this Jeremy?
No.
Okay. In that case, I'm hurt.
Listen, Jeremy, come on.
And Derek Van says that he thinks ET could be the CGC witness. He looks like he's keeping an eye on Christos.
Well, he's definitely OSHA certified. He is wearing his hard hat, but he is not CGC certified, unfortunately.
And Cody, do you want your set personalized to you? Please clarify.
And we could, guys, you could send them to CBCS. I know there's, the epic rivalry, and I have another stack for our Durham store. Durham manager gave us some to get signed. I
have nothing against the slabbing, but I don't understand it. I gotta read the comments.
Well, see, that's at least you sign on the top. So I my lucky comic purchase ever. I bought a Commandy 1. And the seller and I did not find out till later that it was signed on the interior page by Kirby.
Sweet.
And everyone's asking me if I'm going to send it to CBCS because, I guess it could be worth, a couple $100. But then you don't even get to see the signature. It's on the inside page.
That's what I'm talking about. Let me tell you, I had a story like that. I went to San Diego, of all places. And I'm not talking about, back in, 95 when I started going. But, 2015 maybe. So these are new ones, right?
Yes. Oh, those are personalizations. Okay. Hi, Brandon. I noticed Brandon's name. Hello.
So I went to San Diego Comic-Con and I bought a high-grade copy of the 2001 Treasury Edition. It was priced $25, 50% off, so I got it for $12.50.
Hell yeah.
Got it home, opened the first page, and there, right in the middle of the monolith, was Jack Kirby's signature.
Oof.
So I was so happy.
That's awesome.
I would not, never say never, but
that's what I've joked. That's why I don't need it certified. If I'm selling my one Jack Kirby signed book, there must be trouble afoot because I'm not. That's never going anywhere.
Becca has a very interesting question.
Oh, hi, Becca.
How different is the format for a comic script versus a TV or a movie?
Right.
Script?
You've read the if you don't know, we mentioned it a little bit offhand. Christos has written my favorite Marvel TV show ever. You know, all this, I don't know, you're low-key. Give me Daredevil any day.
Well, thank you. Yeah, my wife Ruth and I worked on season 1, and she actually came up with the gnarliest stuff in the ninja fight. So
fights are the best part. Oh, that's why I love. I mean, there's so much to love about Daredevil, but the fights, just yes.
But yeah, and she also found the Bible verse that they continued to use into season 3, or at least in their promo materials. So anyway, I'm very proud of her for not being a comic book person. That all her contributions. As a matter of fact, early in the season, she asked, "Should I read all these comics?" And everybody was like, "No," because all the rest of us were comic book people, and we needed someone to tell us when something wasn't going to make sense to a casual viewer because we'd gotten too deep into the weeds. So she was invaluable for that.
But yeah,
what's the question? How the script? Yeah, the scripts are different because in TV and film, the unit that you're writing for is the scene, and in comics, the unit is the page. So you break it down by comics. You break it down by panel. You got to think of the page as a unit. Like, you know, if you can have like a cool moment at the end of the page, so people want to turn the page and then pay it off on the top of the next one. And there's a lot of great books and stuff that you can learn this stuff from. My favorite way to learn is just by sucking them all in. When I was in film school, Ray Bradbury came and talked to our screenwriting class, and he said, so cool. If you want to tell stories, you have to devour stories, and he's absolutely right. You just sort of like feel like what should happen next. But yes, there's no set format for comic book scripts. Like Ben just does it differently from Dan Slott, does it differently from, Greg Pak, does it differently from, whoever. I've read a lot of different people's scripts, and there's no one set format. So just make it good. But, comics is a visual medium, do visual stuff in it. If you're writing in TV, you can have a scene where people just talk for 3 pages. You shouldn't do that in comics because it's boring. Although Garth Ennis once wrote a great issue of, I think it was Hellblazer, set entirely in a pub with people just talking. And I think he was just doing it to see if he could.
Yeah. Do you have a preference? Do you prefer to write comic scripts or TV scripts, or do you like them in both in different ways? I
love going back and forth, comics, TV, video games, whatever, because then it never feels stale. Like you're always sort of like flexing different muscles, and you never get bored. You know what I'm saying? It's fun. I think it keeps me versatile and fresh and limber. Mentally in ways that my physical body is not.
Thank you, Becca.
Can I borrow that?
Oh yeah, did your Sharpie die?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. We go through so many. I have like 20 more behind the scenes if we need them. I just ordered another box. The live show goes through.
Becca says that her daughter Jordan, who is a film student right now, says thank you.
Oh, very cool.
You're very welcome. Jordan.
I was going to say something. I was going to ask something about, the script.
I wrote 2 BJ kicks, keep kicking ass. I hope that's okay. BJ, if you're like a Jehovah's Witness or something and this is inappropriate, I'll do another one for you and let me know.
I think Brandon's cool with a little. Listen, I host one of the live shows, and we joke as it goes 7 to 10. As we get closer to 10, my filter leaves, and so I am off usually saying inappropriate things on camera, so I think they're all used to it. I hope. Takes a lot out of you. That's exciting about the Dynamite stuff. I feel like Nick Barucci does a really good job. I don't know if he's in charge of picking talent, but Dynamite has had some really cool people on some books of like Mark Russell. I didn't expect him to pick up on Red Sonja.
Yeah, Gail Simone.
Yeah, Gail Simone. He has a good job of picking some cool people.
I got the first issue of that Red Sonja. Was it Black, White, and Red or something?
Oh yeah. Everyone's doing that spot color anthology, which is.
Oh, I know what I've got coming up.
Oh, and there's some more over there, Jen. You can take off that file.
I'm gonna need another pen. I think I killed this one.
Oh, Ninjak. Oh, Ninjak. Yeah, look, your Ninjak run is on my mind. Yeah, we need another Sharpie.
I'll go grab them.
Okay.
Wait, what were we talking about just now? Yeah. So I've got coming up in the final issue of Wonder Woman, Black, White, and Gold.
Oh, cool.
Which is number 6. I have a story with Kevin McGuire, a hero of mine.
Oh, man.
I was so excited because I was reading his Justice League when I was 15. I was like, this is awesome. And I got to say, when I got the art, I learned so much just from looking at his art and the choices he made. See, this is a perfect example where when he made choices like combining 2 panels into one, or like pushing what had been the last panel of the page onto the next page, and I knew immediately why he had done it, and his choices always made the story better. And working with the man is like having a master class in comics, and I've been doing this a while, like over 15 years, and I learned so much just from that one 8-page story with Kevin McGuire.
His JLI, Alan. I was always a Marvel person.
Mm-hmm.
I never read DC really till Alan's a big DC guy. Made me read JLI, and yeah, Kevin McGuire is just on another level. And I figured out what I was going to say. You're in the Marvel. What is it called? Is it called the Marvel Method? Right? Is that on Disney Plus?
Yeah.
So there you go. You're talking about Slot's Method. I know there was a lot of Twitter people talking about that episode, but I thought it was pretty cool. Each episode kind of talks about how it's like, how did this get made? I love that podcast about bad movies, if you're looking for a podcast, but it's like, how did this comic get made? And they talk about Spidey. I'm very excited about your Uncle Ben story, because everyone knows I'm a Raimi Spider-Man fan.
Cool.
So I miss Uncle Ben in the new movies. So
don't we all? We all miss Uncle Ben.
Yeah, I'm so excited to hear he's getting some love.
The thing about that Marvel Method episode, literally the night before we shot it, I went to there was something wrong with like our air conditioning or something, so I went to the top of our building and was looking around, and it was dark out, and I didn't see this like metal thing, and banged my head on it.
Oh gosh.
So God bless them, they did their best with the makeup to cover up this gigantic lump I had on my head.
Oh no.
But you could see I have this massive lump on my head.
Now I gotta go back and rewatch.
Yeah, throughout it looks like there's another horror movie I watched when I was a kid, The Believers, with what's his face, Ant-Man. You know who I'm talking about?
Oh, Paul Rudd.
No.
Old Ant-Man.
Yeah, Hank Pym.
Yes, I'm blanking on his name. I'm just call him. He's on the Wall Street movie. You guys know who I'm talking about.
Douglas's kid, Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas. Yes, come on.
Anyway,
I can get Phenomena, but not Michael Douglas.
In that movie, there's a thing where like someone gets cursed and this bulge grows on their face, and then like all these spiders hatch out of it. So that's what I was afraid was going to happen to my forehead.
And it would, of course, be mid film.
It would be right in the middle of the shoot.
Disney would keep it in, I'm sure. They would be like,
yeah. In fact, they would hopefully make it into like a Charlotte's Web type of thing where it was had a happy ending, and me and the spiders,
Yeah.
Family. So.
Except, then you'd be your life story would be owned by the mouse.
That's all right. Pretty much is all right. Oh, that's not mine. That's
no. That's we have all of our comics come here, so I got to split them up between the.
I'm going to ask you if I can take one of those because I want to read it.
Yeah.
That's Peter Milligan, right?
Yeah. Peter Milligan's on Pirates Queen. I forget who's the interior artist. I was just flipping through it before I was looking through that, and Marguerite Bennett's the next issue comes out this
Adam
week too.
Polina and Tamara Bundlin.
Polina, yeah. I'm so stoked about it. Dia got him back, and it's been a minute since he's been doing interior art on a comic book.
Yeah, and Peter's so good. His Human Target.
Oh,
with
all
Cliff
his Vertigo
Chang,
stuff.
Javier Pulido, who's doing Ninjak now with Jeff Parker.
Yeah.
So good. I mean, some of that is just like a masterclass in doing comics. There's this one single issue story where Human Target switches place with a mob guy who's like dying of cancer, and he goes out to try to like visit all his girlfriends one more time, and meanwhile all these people are trying to kill him, and it's just so good. Anyway, and of course Cliff Chang is just Cliff Chang. In fact, one of the first Heroes Cons I went to, I got a sketch from Cliff of Human Target that I treasure. It's in my
that's so cool.
Yeah.
He was so nice. He was at NC Comic Con my first time I was working the con, and I was very, very, very timid getting my Paper Girl. It was like right after Paper Girls came out, and it was crazy. He had no line, but I was, I was like, please sign my Paper Girls.
You guys get a lot of nice people. I was at the very first one of those, me.
I heard
Mike
back
Perkins.
in the mall. Yeah, Mike Perkins.
In the Dead Mall.
Yeah. Alan still looks at Dead Malls. He's like, we can bring this format back. I was like,
it was small, but it was me and Mike Perkins, and I forget who else.
Tommy.
One other person. Oh, of course, Tommy.
I think, I'm not sure. I don't know all the Ultimate lore. I'm too
Mike
green,
was the only one who wasn't local, I think. So we started it off, man. OGs.
The OGs. Oh, I think the next one, whenever that comes back, will be the 20th. So you'll be
maybe I'll have to go.
Back in town, just in time.
Mike is the sweetest guy too.
Oh, he's.
My point was, y'all have really nice people.
Oh, yes.
Guests for you.
Yeah, Alan and Tommy Lee Edwards. If we've got some viewers still watching,
I call Tommy Lee Jones literally every time I'm trying to talk about him. I always call him Tommy Lee Jones.
People are like, Tommy Lee Jones,
no,
Batman. You're like, no, Tommy Lee Edwards, Mother Panic.
Yeah.
They do a great job. We always have a really cool guest list. I'm always super excited about someone on the list.
Yeah.
There's a little advertisement.
What was the one you guys were going to do a thing and you were going to have Brian Blessed out before COVID?
It all got canceled. We were going to have the tour of Flash Gordon. Alan's a huge Flash Gordon fan. I had never seen it.
It's so good. I saw it when it first came out as a kid and took it 100% seriously.
Oh yeah.
Not watching it ironically, the way some hipsters do.
Oh, listen. No. I had to watch it straight. Alan almost fired me when I said I hadn't seen it. And he was like, "We're getting the whole crew." It's like, I know Brian Blessed from Phantom of the Menace, and then he said, "You go home and watch it."
Yeah, he's so good. I love the way when he tweets, he does it in all caps to approximate his voice. Apparently it is true. I once saw him tweet, I once did a Gordon's Alive for the Queen. She asked for it personally. And apparently that's true. Apparently the Queen and her grandkids love Flash Gordon, and she asked him to say Gordon's Alive.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is very cool. I hope he didn't scare any of her corgis.
And he's a big animal rights person, and he defends badgers and hedgehogs and what have you. You know who else? Brian May from Queen. He has a hedgehog rescue center at his estate in England.
We had the voice actor for Beast Boy a couple times, and he is very true to his character.
Yeah.
He's vegan like Beast Boy, and he is super into animal rights. Like half his panel, he just started talking about protecting it. It was very sweet. All the kids were super into it because it was very, very what you would expect Beast Boy to be talking about. Save the animals.
You know who should have come out sometime if you ever get a chance is my boy Yuri Lowenthal, who did the voice of Spider-Man and Spider-Man PS4.
I know we have some people. I mean, Insomniac's around here too.
Tara Platt, who did Captain Yuri Watanabe, and they both do a ton of other voices. But
do you have any video game work coming out or anything? Well, I guess
nothing I can talk about.
Nothing you can talk about.
But I'm doing video game work.
Okay. All right.
So things will
happen.
Things will unfold. I mean, we worked on, I came off of Daredevil season 1 and then went on board Spider-Man PS4 and worked on it for 3 years. So,
wow.
Yeah. Some of these things are a long time percolating.
So in 3 years, we'll have you back.
See the light of day. But then sometimes I come in and just like with the Marvel's Avengers and the Iron Man VR, I just do a little dialogue polish, and sometimes that I do it right before it comes out. So it's weird. Sometimes things take are in development for a long time for me, and then sometimes it's like, you come in, you do your thing, and then you go.
Well, I had a really fun time talking about this. Thank you for coming down, and
thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. I was excited we could get this rolling. And if you are watching this, you can still buy one from us. I got to make sure we signed enough copies for everyone, and we'll have some to send to the stores. But Monster Kill Squad, Christos Gage, Tomas Giorello, and Diego Rodriguez on incredible colors. Out this Wednesday, but you got to get it from a Bad Idea Destination store. There's only a couple of those. We kind of have the market on the Triangle, so if you're in North Carolina, you have to come to us.
Oh, man. I like the way you said that, like a monster.
Yeah. That's how I feel. Yeah.
What else are you going to do?
We got the goods, and you want a signed copy from Christos. I think we also have the market cornered on that. And again, we still have some available if you want to get the whole set, first prints from us, $28, and Christos so generously offered to sign all 4
I'll sign all four.
Which means we get to hang out, talk about Dario Argento some more while I'm getting him to sign your book.
That's right. Anything they put in front of me, I'll sign.
Yeah. So yeah, make sure Wednesday, and yeah, maybe be the first person to get one of those buttons.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got some people who have camped out for those. So
really,
there is a button for Monster Kill Squad. I know there's only a couple left, and you can.
Dinesh is always good at coming up with the gimmicks, man. I have a copy of Ninjak #1 that is a metal cover. It's literally made out of metal.
Yeah, I mean, Valiant still does like the glass covers. Yeah. I know it started with Dinesh, and I remember when I think it was he did Quantum and Woody when he actually sourced authentic '90s foil from old school '90s. Yes, that was very fun.
He found the stuff from Wildcats #2 cover. I was like, oh, holy cow, I remember that.
That's so cool.
And he was so excited. He was like a little kid. I love. I mean, he lives for that stuff.
Well, now the buttons they've announced what they're for, so that you can turn it in for some exclusive Matt Kint comic book. You can only get if you have a button. And then apparently there's some top secret stuff that later on that will all be revealed. So you have this Wednesday you have a chance to get 2. Because Pirates Queen comes out, Monster Kill Squad comes out. You get 2 buttons if you're first. So.
Oh, and I believe Tomas still draws conventionally, so look for his original art. It's stunningly gorgeous.
Yes, that is always a bummer when I want to buy. I don't have too much original art, but there was a book recently. I was like, oh no, it's digital. I wanted a page. I was gonna shell out the money.
I asked Kevin McGuire, and he's like, yeah, I draw digitally now. I'm really sorry. It's like that's okay. I commissioned a Godzilla drawing from him once. So
that's fun. Cool. I would not. Yeah, I mostly think of him with this JLI stuff. He's more gritty stuff, but Godzilla, that'd be cool.
Yeah, Godzilla by Herb Trimpe and Doug Moen in the '70s was my jam.
Yeah. We actually just put together on the live show a full set, all of the original Marvel Godzilla until there's a lot. It's crazy. Nice.
I put together a set back in 1978.
Yeah, the old school way. Yeah. Listen, I mean, we have it easy putting together sets with the warehouse. I'm still trying to put together my Kirby's Fourth World, so.
Oh, that's a tough one. I just got the books.
Yeah, that's valid. I'm pretty close. I have all the pricey ones.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you again for tuning in. Let us, you 5 more seconds to chime off if you want a comic, and you'll see me tomorrow, Tuesday night at 7 p.m. We have our Ultimate Comics live show, 7 to 10, same place. And yeah, come buy some comics. We'll have a couple more. We'll have some more signed Monster Kill Squad on the show, and it'll be a fun time. It's always fun.
Ooh, and one last question.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Gustavus, who's our resident Hulk fan.
Yes, Gustavus.
He wants to know: are you planning any new Hulk stories or projects in the near future?
I have no Hulk plans in my immediate future, but
you can always Trip. He was like, Hulk. Huh? He heard Trip.
Oh yeah.
He was like Hulk.
You can always go back and read World War Hulk X-Men, which is one of my favorite things I've ever done. It was just 3 issues of the Hulk fighting all the X-Men. So
yeah, you think 180, 181. That's just one X-Men.
That's just one, and Wendigo.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There you go.
But this is Hulk fighting all the X-Men.
Nice.
All of them.
Okay. Well, we'll try. I think
including Juggernaut, because he was with Excalibur at the time, and I turned him back into a heel, and it was just tremendous fun.
Well, I have one final question. Who's your favorite X-Men? We're talking about X-Men.
It's a tough call. I'm probably going to go with Nightcrawler.
Solid choice.
Yeah. But really, some of my favorite X-Men people are villains. Like, I love Juggernaut. I love the Blob. And
big boys.
Yeah, the big boys.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm a Cyclops fan. Originally, it was just because everyone hated Cyclops, and then
so you're just being contrary.
do. Yeah, I'm just being contrary about it all. Now I'm all in on Cyclops.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Good for
you. Somebody's got
I like
to.
Cyclops. There's nothing wrong with Cyclops.
Yeah. He's a good team leader. All right. Well, yeah. We'll see you Tuesday. You'll see Christos writing when you come pick up Monster Kill Squad or get our copy that's signed to you in the mail. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Bye.